Hey, ocean lovers, do not click away. You're going to find out what creature I encountered when I windsurfed over to Luis Pena Island. Windsurf with me across the waters of the marine reserve, Canal de Luis Pena, here on Culebra Island, Puerto Rico. Starting off from famed snorkeling spot Tamarindo Beach, I will windsurf across these protected, no fishing, no take, reserve waters, which is a reserve for fish to not be hunted and to reproduce. And this is a big section of the south shore of Culebra. And I will windsurf to the uninhabited island of Luis Pena on my 1984 vintage old school windsurfing gear. You need to sail along with me. Today's windsurfing rigs, the rig is the mast, the sail, and the boom, are much lighter and easier to handle than the rig you see here. This old vintage board is a challenge for me that I enjoy, and it brings back memories of windsurfing from island to island when I was 20. Guys, that's a long time ago. The wind is blowing offshore today. I really didn't want that type of wind, but it's the best we can do for now. I want to jump off my board and snorkel underneath it as part of a series called Under My Board, where I go and snorkel in unexplored snorkeling reefs that tourists do not frequent. I'm in the lee of the island. That means the wind's blowing over my head, and it's very fluky right near the shore. Fluky wind means coming from more than one direction at the same time. So it's slow going at first. Welcome to my series Under My Board, where I snorkel to unexplored reefs that are not frequented by tourists. Tamarindo Beach is one of the best places in the world to swim with the turtles, and I frequently do that. Here's a clip from last week. I just love looking down through the crystal waters. For those that do not know me, I am Lisa Penfield, two-time freestyle windsurfing world champion and Olympian. I took over 20 years off from my sport to raise my kids, and now I am back to my roots. I once sailed this old-style board from St. John to St. Thomas and back again, several times throughout the winter, and I even sailed to St. Croix. Come with me as I sail over these incredible waters of the Caribbean, the Marine Reserve on the south side of Culebra Island. So I made it to Luis Pena Island, and the wind's blowing on shore, which is not ideal. This was really not the day to go over there. I should have picked a day when the wind was blowing side shore. But now I'm sailing against the wind. I'm getting tired, but that's okay. I've still got energy. And in the distance, you can see the island of Culebra as I am tacking upwind against the wind to get to the little cove I want to go to, where I saw the channel between the reefs to get into the beach, where I saw the channel from the airplane. So I'm tacking, which is turning through the eye of the wind, through the direction the wind's blowing from, and sailing at an angle against the wind to make headway upwind. So I have to go upwind about, half a mile or so. It's really fun going on top of these beautiful coral heads. And there's flying fish and birds all around, and it's exciting. It was gusty because the wind has to blow over Culebra, so it comes in bursts. You can see in the distance the reef straight ahead. But I can't drop the sail on the upwind side of the reef because then the sail will blow right over the reef, and I don't want that. So I said, well, I'll sail into the cove. I'll take a break on the beach, and then I'll sail back out and drop my sail on the inside of the barrier reef. And that's where I'll snorkel. Well, I wiped out a few times because the camera on my head makes it much harder to windsurf because it's in a titanium case, the DJI Pro action sports camera. It's in a heavy titanium case, which is extremely waterproof. And I have it on a strap, which is bobs around on my head. What I really need is a helmet to hold my DJI. If anybody has an extra helmet, let me know. So here I am sailing downwind to the shore so I can take a break and rest. And I see that the sargasso seaweed has accumulated as it's blowing on shore. And many, many birds on this island of Luis Pena, which is uninhabited and protected. I see many bird species, pelicans, because I haven't seen them lately on Culebra. I think they're all over here. And little blue herons and 3 different kinds of seagulls. It's crazy beautiful. So I'm thinking to myself, I'll just go onto the beach and take a break. So I sail into this sargasso seaweed, and I realize, dun, 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 I can't move. I'm stuck. And it's still over my head, and I've never been stuck in seaweed before. This was the first time for me. I was in denial, actually. I was like, I've got to be able to sail out of here. So I kept trying, and I wasn't moving, so it was really making me tired because the sail's a lot heavier when you're not moving because the energy doesn't go into motion. So I was getting tired, getting more and more tired, getting a little exasperated, feeling kind of stupid. I sailed over here without a harness. I told people I was going over and what time to expect me back. But I felt lonely, and I felt just all the years I've windsurfed, I've never been in this situation. This is the very first time. I'm like, I didn't panic, but I was like distressed. I was like, what is going on? I can't move. My board. It's so weird. I was like, I'm going to have to jump in this stuff. I'm going to have to paddle against the current and the wind and paddle out to the clear water so I can sail back. And I knew the energy that I had calculated for my excursion, it was not being used the way that I thought it was going to be. I was getting very tired trying to swim upwind through this seaweed and actually not even really moving. So I'm swimming and I'm in denial about the fact that I'm not moving. And I'm like, okay, now what? I said, okay, you're smart. You know a lot about being out in the wilderness. You need to just regulate your breathing and rest. Take it easy. Be rational. I took a nice deep breath. I was like, it's okay. It's going to be fine. And I tried again to pull my sail up on the back of the board to create less drag. My plan is still to sail, to paddle, to the outside of the weed line. This is my plan. I'm sticking to it. And I look out to the weed line, just gazing, and I see this black fin with a pronounced white tip. I can't show you guys because I saw it after the camera ran out of batteries, but I found a picture online, show you the type of shark that I deduced that this was, a black tip reef shark. And I'm not scared of sharks, but when I'm swimming right towards one, I'm like, okay, in a struggling manner, I could be mistaken for like an injured fish. I was like, okay, I better not stick to that plan. I better come up with another plan. So I waited till I drifted into the shore, and I walked along the beach until I cleared the seaweed and walked out onto the rock jetty. And then I was able to pull up my sail and sail against the puffy wind and get back to Tamarindo Beach. That wasn't too hard, but it did exhaust me. I was exhausted when I got in. But I was also relieved and very happy. Thanks, guys, for listening. Like and subscribe. Please. Thanks, guys.